gonna go from trashy to classy. Oh, how's that look? How's that look? Oh, that looks so much better. Alright, scooch you in, zoom in, maybe. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Too close? Too close? I think not. Yeah, no, definitely too close. Alright, this should be called the Christmas episode. And it's a really cool one, I think, because, well, it was my first Christmas, not at home. It was in New Zealand. And, my apologies. Better? Better? Better. I put some cool things in the background. But you can't see them. I'm getting better. Alright. Anyway, less of the camera, although I do want it level. And I should have done this before I started. I'm so sorry. Alright, we're back. We're rolling with it. We are rolling with it. First Christmas, not at home. I was in New Zealand. And second, tomorrow's December 1st. I have no idea where the whole year of 2025 has gone. I'm glad I started this YouTube channel, because, at least I know where the past 2 weeks have gone. But yeah, tomorrow is the beginning of December, the beginning of the Christmas season. If you don't already agree, that begins after Thanksgiving, or even after Halloween. However, I spent a Christmas 2 Christmases ago. Not this coming, not last, but the one before last. And I spent it in New Zealand. New Zealand. Land of the Kiwis. Both the birds and the people. Not the fruit, although they have the fruit. It has nothing to do with the fruit. It's a bird. I will put a picture of the bird up here and a picture of the map. There's the bird. 3, 2, 1. There's the map. Cool. Sorry, I have to use the AI version of a Kiwi just because of copyright. But it was so weird for me as a Tennessean to have gone and had a Christmas in New Zealand because it's summertime there. They will have barbecues and wear swim trunks. So I went for a hike and I went and swam in the ocean on Christmas, and it was nice. I was hot. I was sweating on the hike, which is so weird for a little Tennessee boy to experience on Christmas Day. It's not all gonna be around Christmas. If you've seen the first story time, you will know kind of where we left off with the Alfa Romeo and the Alfa Romeo story. So I figured I'd pick up there. However, there's a little more to it from the beginning, so I'm just going to start from the beginning. The intro is a video I filmed while on the ferry. I have my laptop in front of me. I reckon I'll just start somewhere. I have all my photos on my laptop, so I can chuck them up on the screen for you, and so that way I can just remember what happened. So I landed in Wellington. Wellington is here. And I was on my phone looking for solo travelers who were going to spend Christmas alone like I was going to do. And as it turns out, there's loads and loads of travelers in New Zealand. Turns out there's a thing called a working holiday visa. So if you're under 30 years old or under 35, depending on what country you're from, you can go and live in New Zealand for a year and have the right to work to afford yourself the ability to travel for a year financially. I didn't know about this when I got my 90-day on-arrival tourist visa. However, it was meeting these younger travelers on the visa, the 1-year working holiday, that encouraged me to apply for one and get it and go back to New Zealand for a year. But that's way down way down the line. We are not there. We're on my first time there. First 90 days. So to my surprise, when I put a post out, it was like Backpackers Wellington or something like that was the name of the Facebook group. I got several responses. I can't remember if I'm the one who posted it or if I responded to someone's post actually. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Like 8 of us got together. One other American, a guy from Ireland, a bunch of people from Europe. I can't remember where. One guy from Germany. That one, he was really funny. Him and the other American got into like a bickering argument, a very friendly bickering argument. And it was all about like whether we could do this hiking trail because the website said it was closed. And the American was like, how closed is closed? And he was like, the rules says that it is closed, therefore we cannot go. We ended up going. We ended up doing it anyway. I probably shouldn't say that on camera. But we did it. It was fine. It was because they said there's a landslide that covered up part of the trail, but we just went over that dirt. We were not the only ones out there doing it anyway. But it was funny to me because like I had heard a joke a long time ago on Top Gear, the BBC with Jeremy and James May and Richard Hammond, and it was James May who was saying he knew like a Californian and a German. The Californian says, "What if I drive without a driver's license?" The German was like, "You can't drive without a driver's license. It would be impossible." So my first like trip abroad, I'm in the back seat watching this American and this German have this argument over the impossibility of going on a hiking trail that is closed. That we ended up doing. Anyway, kind of fun. The first thing I'm looking at, I'll show it to you now. Boom. You will see that is a license plate of Putnam County, Tennessee. I'm not sure if I should be showing my numbers. I might block that out, I might not, doesn't matter. This was a pub I went to where we had this dinner. Am I remembering that right? This might have just been a random pub I went to on my own. But pretty much I had a bunch of American license plates. I remember I had sold my car and I hadn't really had time to throw away or get rid of my license plate. I sold it last minute. I tried to sell it private party and no one was buying. And I ended up taking it to CarMax, getting the instant offer. So for fun and pressed for time, I just threw it in my suitcase. So it says Tennessee, and be like a fun little reminder to remember home. Because I didn't know how long I'd be gone for, but I knew I'd be gone for a long while. Turns out I hate carrying around the darn thing. And ended up like coming back the next night and asking the manager if I could get a free beer for that license plate. And he was like, "Sure, mate. Here." So I traded my license plate for a beer at a pub in New Zealand, and my license plate is still on the wall. They put it up there. Anyway, thought that was funny. What else do we have? Alright, sorry. Hi, back again. I'm just scrolling. So, we went and we did this hike, and I will show you a picture of the group. That is me in the back with the hat. The guy from Germany is on the far left with the sunglasses on his white shirt. The American is the girl in the green top. That was, I believe, another American girl maybe, in the sunglasses and hat right in the middle. And I forget where this guy's from. I think he's probably from England with the black fanny pack. But they were very cool. And this is the beach where I swam in. Absolutely beautiful. This country is so beautiful. So beautiful. And then here's some photos from the hike. So she said this one rock, I think it was the Californian girl with the green tank top, was like, "Oh my gosh, that looks like one of the Easter Island heads." And we were all like, "Yeah, it does." So that is not an Easter Island head. Looks like one. We just saw it when we were hiking. And anyway, did all that. We ended up having Christmas Eve at an Irish pub. And there was that group I just showed you, and one Irish guy But the Irish guy got too drunk and he had a hangover too bad that he couldn't join us the next day. But we decided in that pub, having like Christmas Eve beer and appetizers, that we should all get together on Christmas Day and do this hike and swim in the ocean and a lunch on the beach. And it was really, really nice. However, I had a ticket to get on the ferry, which was the video you saw in the intro to this. Like, I took that whilst on this ferry, and I'll show you a couple funny pictures of the Alfa Romeo on the ferry. There's the Alfa, there's big truck number 1, and big truck number 2 with like emergency roadside supplies. Alright, so I didn't know anything. I didn't know what I did not know about what the South Island would be like. And I immediately thought, driving my Italian hatchback onto this ferry, that I messed up. Because there's like this huge 4x4 diesel Toyota Hilux with like water jugs and gas jugs and shovels. And I'm like, I messed up. I should not have brought this car on this boat. I messed up. I don't know why they let me on this boat. This is going to be bad. Turned out to be brilliant. It wasn't a problem at all. Someone called it like the last frontier, the South Island of New Zealand. I would argue against that. They have Wi-Fi. They have great roads. They have beautiful accommodations. 5-star resort. Like it's a brilliant first world civilization on the South Island. It's not like Alaskan last frontier kind of vibe, which is what I got. But I was still in Wellington. I hadn't got on the ferry yet, and I just had a lot of supplies. So I'm gonna run down the supplies real quick. You see, like, we got some food. Obviously, you have to have the toilet paper. Turns out, on the last frontier of the South Island, they have toilet paper everywhere. I ended up putting that toilet paper in, like, a free bin. A lot of campsites had free bins. Take it, leave it. I got a great sleeping bag out of one of those free bins. Ibuprofens, food, Band-Aids, I don't know. I was packing my fears. Alright, so here's some camping stuff. I thought I would be camping a lot, and I did. But, I had the Osprey backpack. Oh, I still have that backpack. I love that backpack. I got a lot of use out of that backpack. I took that backpack to Asia. Kind of sentimental. I had been chatting with, like, a group I would meet up with, like, a week or two later that I'd do some traveling with, and they were all about backpacking and camping. So that's why I got it. What else we got? Sun hat, because it burns a lot there. A buff, that green thing, right at the front of the table, green and black. That's for, like, sun damage. A trowel to the right of the hat to dig holes to bury my poo, quite frankly. That's what I bought it for. Thank God that isn't what I had to use it for, because not only do they have toilet paper in the last frontier of the South Island of New Zealand, they have flushing toilets everywhere. They have the best public toilet system I've ever seen in my life, actually. Sleeping bag, used that a lot. Wallet, used it a lot. Headlamp, used it a lot. And I'm just going to show you this picture. Boom. That is all of my stuff. That's my suitcases I flew there with. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I've become a way better traveler. I have duffel bags. Those clear containers have like food and toiletries and stuff in them. I can travel with almost nothing now. There's something called raw dogging. When you raw dog a flight and you just step on it with what you have in your pockets. I'm pretty sure I could raw dog a flight halfway around the world and be fine now. But it comes with experience. Oh, right. After this photo, we have it on the car. There it is. How I made room for myself to sleep in that car, I do not know. I had 2 modes, I had road mode and sleep mode. So I'd have to like unpack the car and repack it a certain way to sleep in it and also to drive it and to carry passengers. I ended up carrying one of those guys from the group I told you about earlier. And he just had a tent, so we would park at the campsite. He would put out his tent. I would put the car into sleep mode. In the back, you see like a red strap going over something that's blue with a white pattern. That's my sleeping mattress. Alright. So the mattress was obviously flat like that, and I would put one side in and then the other, and then I'd ratchet strap it together because it was all foam. There was no like springs in it, and then I would lay everything out in camp mode, pop that ratchet strap, and like open it up. All right, keep on looking. There's a license plate. There's my license plate. Oh, I remember this story better now. I'd gone there, taken a photo of the license plate I showed you, which wasn't mine. I was excited because there's a Tennessee plate on the wall. And there's the bar name, Dakotas. So if you ever go into Wellington, a bar named Dakotas, you will see my personal license plate because I brought it there the next night after seeing that other Tennessee plate. And I traded it for this beer. Totally worth it. 100% worth it. 10 out of 10 recommend. Gets rid of the license plate out of your luggage and you get a free beer. Boom. There's the wall. Kind of cool. Alright, we're continuing on. Only go right back down because I just saw some more photos. Here is what the inside of a ferry looks like with the lounge. You just buy a seat. It's like, I don't know, $100 US to put a car on a ferry. There's my breakfast. And to have it you don't drive a boat, float a boat. To have a boat float your car over from the North Island to the South Island. There's me driving the boat. Just kidding, that was for kids. I took that photo when no one was watching because I was kind of embarrassed. And then, what else do we have? Boom, South Island. That is some of the first few rocks of the South Island, and it just outlines how beautiful the country is and what was yet to come. There's my map I picked up at a tourist center for free that I used, and this is me chilling at my first campsite. Alright, so, sorry my head's down here. I'm looking at my computer, now my head's back, looking at you. That campsite, I'll put it up again. I thought that was beautiful. That fenced in sod, it's not even sod, astroplastic turf. I thought that was the most beautiful, coolest campsite. It was by far the worst campsite. Here it is. Again, there's the Alpha pulled up. I just thought that was going to be my experience. Like, that's what it would look like. Turns out, yeah, that was probably the worst. Still great, because it was just really nice. And there's beautiful scenery behind it that I couldn't see because of the fence. Here's my tent all set up. I was testing out the tent I bought in case I wanted to camp. And there's my sleeping bags set out. That green bag was wool. And it was so warm. And I found it at that campsite for free in one of those free bins. And it turns out, like, I used it the whole trip, and I would have needed one like that because mine just wasn't warm enough. And here is a couple more photos of New Zealand. Actually, we'll just do this one. Boom. This is campsite number 2. This is Blenheim Beach. And this is before I was really trying to push south to like Queenstown where I'd meet these people for to rally up and travel with them. Here is a photo of like me beginning to sort out my sleep mode. Here is a photo of people who actually knew what they were doing with their roof rack. I was very jealous of that because they didn't have to do all this work for like sleep mode and drive mode like I did. There's some of the rocks of Blenheim Beach. I have some of them. I wasn't supposed to take them, but I have some of them, and they are beautiful. Here's a photo of me chilling with my legs out, my hatchback. I think you see one car to the left between that white camper van and that caravan, pull-behind caravan. But there turned out to be a shocking amount of car campers there. Here's a photo of me filling up my water supply at the public library, which I used so much. And then we got, photo of me chilling. I just pulled over, made this cup of coffee, instant, so good. And I saw these guys. They were snorkeling. I thought their trucks were too cool. And as it turns out, they had just gone, like, was it hog hunting? They just gone, it shouldn't have been hogs, because I don't think they have hogs. I forget what they hunted out of helicopters, but they took rifles and hunted something that was like invasive from helicopters, and then they went snorkeling in their very cool 4x4 trucks, which I thought I needed, which I don't because there's roads. And they were so nonchalant and cool about it. I was like, you understand how cool this is, right? And that turned out to be like kind of a thing in New Zealand. Like a lot of people were like, they're into skydiving, or they're into like long haul trek hiking across wilderness terrain, or into snorkeling. And they just had these really cool hobbies, or like full on surfer or mountain biker or skier. But I remember when I walked up to him, he was like wearing rugby shorts. And I played rugby growing up, but I was so stoked up. I was like, "Yo, hey, you're wearing rugby shorts, man! I used to play rugby." And he looked down, and he looked back at me, and he was so confused. And I was like, "What? You played rugby, right?" He's like, "Oh no, mate, no. I just like the shorts. They're good. They're durable. They have good pockets." And I just felt like a little embarrassed. As it turns out, the Kiwis will just wear rugby shorts for the sake of rugby shorts. I think that might be a pretty good place to stop. I didn't really cover anything too significant in terms of a single event outside of maybe Christmas and my license plate and my trip on the ferry, but I definitely covered a good chunk of time. We're in a good spot to share more with you on the next story time. I would keep going, but I want to keep these kind of short. So I'm just going to cue an outro, flash some photos for you, and I'm going to thank you so much for watching. I love people like tune in and watch me ramble and talk. It means a lot. And I'm really hoping to see you in the next episode. Till I see you again, may your lives be very happy and peaceful and joyous. And now I'm talking because I don't know what to say. So here we go. 3, 2, 1.